What's up, everybody? This is What is Sports? I am your host, Tyler Dietz, and with me is JP Cochran.
Hey, guys.
Hey, and Nick Grant.
Hello, I'm fighting a cold.
Nick, you know, it makes you sound like Sylvester Stallone.
Well, hey, I'll take it. Yo, Adrian, I'll take it. Fighting the cold, man.
So today we're going to talk about video games on our sports show, oddly enough. So specifically, we're going to talk about the Evolution Championship Series video game tournament, aka EVO. I'm also going to sort of do my best to cover professional gaming as a whole. This is a brand new world to me. Well, kind of a brand new world. We'll get into that. But I know this is like a super duper brand new world to you guys, right? So this will be it'll be kind of a reversal from what the show originally was, which was me asking you guys questions.
Yeah, because Dietz is a major nerd, so he knows a lot about video games. Nick is kind of a nerd.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I am so nerdy that I am on a nerd talk podcast called What is Nerd?
That's crazy.
That is nerdy.
Yeah.
What a nerd.
That's
By
part
the
of it,
way,
I guess.
by the way, if you haven't yet, follow us on Twitter at What is Sports 1. Like us on Facebook. If you also subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, leave us a 5-star review. Would be super dope. And as I said before, we also host a Nerd Talk podcast called What is Nerd? This week, we're talking about some classic 80s Muppety fantasy movies, The Dark Crystal and Labyrinth, both directed by Jim Henson. So that'll be a lot of fun. Check it out. And finally, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, send us an email at wisportscast@gmail.com. Now, Nick has got a quick plug for a very fun thing we're about to do. Tell us, Nick.
All right, yeah, we are doing a fantasy football listener league for our listeners out there, where we will host a league. And if you want to join, send us a message through social media. Write us an email at wisportscast@gmail.com. We've already received a few submissions and applications for people that want to join. So there's only a few spots left. So if you want to join our league, let us know. It's going to be a ton of fun. The winner is going to win a $50 either Amazon or Visa gift card. And we're going to have exclusive episodes for the Listener League. We got, just to give a little preview of that, we have JP. He's going to have the JP Strongman Hour of Power rankings. I'm going to give weekly previews and reviews of the matchups. And we're not really sure what Dietz's segment's going to be yet, but we got...
know it's going to be called Dietz Treats.
Yeah,
right?
Dietz's Treat, something like that. So maybe he's talking about Twinkies in one episode. Maybe he's talking about Reese's Cups. We just don't know yet. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a fun show. Of course, anybody can listen to it, but it's going to be more fun if you're in the league. So just reach out to us. We'd love to have you in our league. And obviously, the more creative your email or social media message to us, we'll put you in more higher standing. So reach out to us. It'll be a good time.
And if you feel like that you're not a good fantasy football player, fear not, because JP is probably going to stop participating after the second or third week or so.
No. Okay. So last season I was I feel like a good fantasy football participant.
For 2 weeks.
No, probably I could have done a little better, but this year's gonna be different. Last year, did I have this podcast stuff going on? No. Was I JP Strongman last year? No.
No, not at all. You're JP Weak Man.
This year it's different.
What rank are you in the fantasy baseball league again?
Oh, are we talking about fantasy baseball? Or are we talking about fantasy football?
All right, fair enough. It's a new day.
Yeah.
It's a long season.
Yeah, new day, new man.
But yeah,
actually, football's a short season, right?
But yeah, we encourage anybody who's interested. If you've done fantasy football before, awesome. If you haven't, that's great. Dietz hasn't done fantasy football. Be a lot of fun. Reach out to us, and we'll reach out to you.
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to dive into some news stuff. First of all, Tour de France is over. The winner for most of the competition was Julien Alaphilippe, the French cyclist. And He had the yellow jersey for I think I don't know how many, 16 stages or something like that out of 21. He had it for the majority of the race, but in the last couple of stages, he was surpassed. He actually cracked, right? That's what they call it whenever you get so tired that you start slowing down a bunch and you can hardly continue. So he actually ended up losing a ton of time in the last couple of stages, and he was surpassed by Egan Bernal Gomez from Colombia, who also Gomez won the yellow jersey. He had the fastest overall time for the competition, and he also won the white jersey because he was under 26 years old. And I think that's the first time that's been done in a long time, several years. In fact, I think that only 4 people in the history of the Tour de France have done that, something like that. Big deal, though.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I mean,
yeah.
You hate to see somebody crack, but at the same time, it's awesome to see somebody just stick with it and overtake somebody that's dominated the race for so long.
Yeah.
So that sounds pretty exciting. I kind of wish I watched more of it, but watching guys ride around on bikes for hours on end isn't really my cup of tea. That's why I prefer to watch the highlights.
I think I like reading about it, watching the highlights,
because
it's just so fascinating. Because it's so long, and I mean I don't know forgot how many miles they ride every day, or during the whole race, and it's just the scenery is awesome. It's just cool to think and read about.
Really, the ideal way to watch it, I feel because you're not going to realistically. Hardly anybody's going to sit in front of their TV and watch 5 hours of cycling, right? So I feel the best way to watch it is if you work at a place that can just have that on TV in the background. Mm-hmm. That's great. And that's a great way to watch because you can see the updates, you can see the beautiful countryside and all that stuff and kind of get the overall experience. But, so Gomez won overall. Alaphilippe ended up getting 5th. And as for the jersey winners, you got Peter Sagan, who had the green jersey. That's the fastest sprinter. That means he got the fastest time in these designated sprinting sections. If you get first place, you get a certain number of points, and you get a certain number of points for second, third, fourth, etc. So Peter Sagan won with 316 points. The second place in the sprinting competition was Caleb Ewan. He got 248. So Sagan had blown everyone else out of the water. And then for best climber was Romain Bardet or Bardet with 88 points for the climbing competition. And then of course, as we said, with the white jersey was also Gomez. And also Gomez got second place in the climbing competition as well. So, yeah, he did very well. It's a lot of fun to watch. It's the first time I've ever paid any sort of attention to the Tour de France, and it was a lot of fun. So, for the main topic tonight, we're talking about professional gaming, okay? Now, before I jump into this, what do y'all think about the concept of professional video gaming?
I remember just gradually hearing about these big tournaments being taking place.
When did you first hear about professional gaming?
I think the most I heard about it was in college. We had a roommate playing StarCraft.
Yeah, so all 3 of us had a roommate who was into the professional gaming scene. He played StarCraft 2, right? And so that was the first time.
Yeah, that's I guess when I was exposed to just how big it is.
Yeah,
and he watched guys play online, and they had commentators or commentating on the guys, these competitors playing each other. And then I saw some documentaries on Netflix just about kind of the these big gaming tournaments and the future of gaming.
Did you ever see The King of Kong? The King of Kong. It's about the Donkey Kong.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, it's so good. Have you seen that, Nick?
Yeah, I've seen parts of it.
But anyway, people fill up these stadiums, but I don't really know too much about it.
Yeah. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about it either. I know it's a big deal in certain circles. I don't know. Like I can't, it's kind of weird to think that there's a professional gaming league or competitions that
But these gamers, they better hope that their game stays relevant, because I mean they're good in one game, but it's.
So you guys are bringing up some very, very important points. Nick, you said that it is very relevant in certain circles and very prominent in certain circles. Right. So gaming is very much a niche thing. It's its own world. It is super popular, and like there's a lot of money in it for a small percent of the population of the world, right? And so it's a very niche thing, but it's a very big thing within that niche crowd. And that's what was interesting diving into this and learning about it. So y'all know this, but for the listeners, so I'm the nerd on the show. I've seen a few different gaming competitions. I've actually entered in one, Tekken 7, which was a couple of years ago. But I've never been like super into it. Because honestly, my opinion is like, I'd rather just be playing a game than watching someone play it. I tried to get into Street Fighter, and like I watched how a bunch of the pros play and stuff like that, and I tried to learn from them. But honestly, it's to me, it's not as fun just watching someone play, right? I would rather just do it myself. And also, I wouldn't want to put the number of required hours in to actually get good at these games, because I get bored. I think that playing one thing for a really long period of time, over and over and over again, I don't have the patience for that or the dedication for that, and so that's why like it's not for me overall. But that being said, my personal experience with watching video game competitions, so my wife and I, Chantel, we go to like anime conventions and stuff like that. We're big time nerds, and we've watched video game competitions in person, and it is awesome to see in person, right? It's like watching sports.
What happens? Are people yelling? Are they throwing stuff? Are they cheering? Are they clapping?
So let me paint a picture for y'all. So so if you're going to a video game tournament, right? So they'll have a bunch of computers or TVs with video game consoles set up on either side or like on different parts of the room. And so you walk in and they have like a bracket, right? So you've registered, they have like a system that sets you up with other players. And so it's like, okay, you meet this person at this gaming station at this time, right? Or they might have a person calling it out. So there's like a ton of people there. A lot of the people that are there are competing, but also a lot of people are just there watching. And so you'll get crowds of people gathering around like the good players, or they'll just pick a random person. And so you have crowds of people around each screen. Yes, cheering, because my game is Tekken, right? That's the best fighting game, I think. It's better than Street Fighter, better than Mortal Kombat, all that stuff. It's the most fun. It's the coolest to look at. But yeah, my experience though, I didn't make it past the first round. So I trained, quote unquote trained. I played for an hour a day for like 3 months.
Oh, okay? Dude, that's enough time, man.
It's not even close. I thought I was good because I was playing online. I was playing people online, and I was at the point at which I was beating most people that I played, right? And so online, if you play video games, they have what they call ranked matches, where you start off at a certain level, right? You're at like the bottom level, but then you start beating people, you move up a level. So you start playing people that are better at the game, right? Does that make sense, JP? Because this is brand new to JP, y'all. JP doesn't play video games. And so I got to the stage at Tekken where I got my character, which was it was Asuka, okay, not from Evangelion, y'all.
Not the hot.
What is nerds, listeners? But yeah, Asuka, she's like this grappling character. She does like grappling moves, and she has like a cool like counterattack move that I like to use. But so I got my character, I figured it out. I got to the point at which I could consistently beat people online and move up the ranks, right? And I didn't really reach a wall. I just kept kind of going up the online ranks. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to enter a Tekken tournament. I can do this. And so I go in, I sit down next to this guy. And so we started playing, and I beat him the first match. Okay, first match, bam, beat him. Now with fighting game, it's best 2 out of 3, right? What had happened was he like Terminator style, like saw my strategy and then just destroyed me for the next 2 like matches. Like it's like he got beat. I feel like he got beat by me on purpose so that he could figure out how how I played, and then he just destroyed me in the next 2 matches. Now with fighting game tournaments, it is a double elimination bracket, so you go into a losers bracket, right? And you compete for the 3rd place spot, right? That makes sense. Mm-hmm. And so I lost the second match, matchup as well. I won one of the matches in that, but I got beat the other 2 times. So the environment though is it's people standing around TVs and cheering, okay? Or
do they sell popcorn at this event?
No. Well, the event that I was at was sponsored by Red Bull, and so they were handing out Red Bull drinks for free, which was kind of cool.
Everybody's like hyped up and like super energized.
Exactly.
Like, Tekken!
Yeah, man. I drank like 3 Red Bulls before I went, and I was like, my heart was pounding, and I think that's why I lost. Yeah, it's very much like a sports environment. In fact, it actually feels like you're at a sports bar because you're watching screens, but people are reacting like they would to sports. And for the final couple of matches, they'll put that on a big screen so that everyone can see and everyone's watching and cheering and stuff. So the environment's really cool. It's a lot of fun to see in person. Now, if you're watching it, because most people, if they're watching a video game competition, you're going to be streaming it online, right? JP, I know you didn't, but Nick, did you watch any of the Fortnite championship, the Fortnite World Cup?
All I know is that one 16-year-old punk won $3 million for playing a stupid video game. And he won $3 million. Like that's cool. But why are we paying this kid $3 million to beat a game against to be the best? I mean, I understand it takes skill, it takes practice. Tiger Woods didn't get $2 million for winning the Masters. JP and I were talking before this. The French Open winner didn't win $2 million, so we give this kid who's quick with the fingers to win $3 million. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I guess it's just with whatever sport you choose, like or job, like you go to college and you become an engineer. Well, I mean, unfortunately, that engineer is going to make a lot more than someone who's a teacher or something. Like
I got a question. Where do they get the money to pay these people for their winnings?
That's a wonderful question.
Yeah, that's
so. Okay, the money comes from the entry fees. To enter into a fighting tournament, you have to pay a cost to enter. So let's talk about EVO. All right. So EVO is a fighting game tournament that is in Las Vegas. It's been in Las Vegas since like 2005, I believe, and it's exclusively fighting games. Okay, which in my opinion, if you're gonna watch competitive gaming, like fighting games are the only one that makes sense. Okay, because I tried to watch some of the Fortnite World Cup, which was JP, Fortnite World Cup. That was this past weekend. It is a mess to watch. Okay, because they got every other sport you can see the field, right? And so like Fortnite, they can show you what the field looks like, but I don't know. It looks, maybe because I don't know how to play, it just looks like nonsense to me.
Dude, I have no idea. I don't know what Fortnite is. Yeah. I don't know. I couldn't tell you one thing about Fortnite. I've
never played it before. Nick, have you played Fortnite?
Oh yeah. I'm terrible at it, but I mean it's kind of fun. I mean it's just every man for themselves, and you try to be the last man standing.
Yeah, last man standing, and you can build stuff, right?
Pretty much.
It's like Minecraft meets I would say PUBG, but anyone who knows what PUBG is also knows what Fortnite is. I would say Call of Duty meets Minecraft, right?
Yeah.
It's not a very spectator friendly thing unless you know what's going on. But I think that's what I like about fighting games, though, is you can clearly tell what's happening, right? You got one person versus another person. They each have health bars and all that stuff. So it's all there. So EVO, it's August 2nd through 4th this week. Okay, so if you listen to this, within the week that it's released, you can tune in. Now, as I said, it's double elimination. It is open registration, so anyone can join in on it. But first of all, you have to buy a ticket to get in, which is $45 early bird, $90 at the door. Okay, and then you have to pay an extra $10 for each game you want to compete in. Okay, now this is what makes the the prize pool. Okay, so games that have more entries have a bigger prize pool. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So naturally, the most popular games, or the games that have the most competition, are going to have more players. Therefore, they're going to be harder to win. But the prize is going to be greater. Whereas if you go and play a game that no one else plays, right, you're going to have less competition, but the prize will be smaller. So it kind of just like naturally works out like that, which is kind of cool, right? But yeah, that's where the money comes from. Right now, for this year, the prize pool is not set for EVO, but last year, so the top games were Dragon Ball Fighters. Okay, Dragon Ball Fighters. That's the prize pool is $25,790. Tekken 7 was $15,470. Super Smash Brothers was $13,580. And then the biggest prize of all time was Street Fighter 4 in 2015. That was $72,270. So most of the time, the prize is not that ridiculous, right? Most of the time, the prize isn't as high as like millions of dollars.
Yeah,
right?
But I mean, it's still a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess it does make a lot more sense knowing that it's coming from the entry fee. So it's not like there's one like crime boss who's like, haha, let's pit these kids against each other. Yeah. And so they all play Super Smash Brothers. So that makes a lot more sense, but still, that just seems like a ton of money.
Yeah, and it is, but you can see where it comes from and all that stuff. So the Fortnite, was an unusually large amount of money because so many people entered into Fortnite because so many people play Fortnite. Right. So EVO is a physical place in Las Vegas. You have to go there to compete. Anyone can enter, but you got to pay the cover charge. Now, it originally started in 1996 in Sunnyvale, California. It's been happening every year since then. It was originally called Battle by the Bay, and it was also originally just some Street Fighter games. It was founded by a content creator on the website, Shoryuken.com, which is like a fighting game website, and they originally just had arcade cabinets, and it only had 40 participants. Since then, it's grown, obviously. In 2002, it became known as EVO. 2005, it was moved to Las Vegas, and nowadays, instead of using video game cabinets, they use consoles hooked up to TVs. Up to 2003, they just had like Capcom titles like Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom and stuff like that. But in 2003, they added a bunch of others like Tekken, Soul Calibur, Virtua Fighter, and all that stuff. In 2007, Super Smash Brothers was added to the lineup, specifically Super Smash Brothers Melee. And so Smash Brothers has been like a consistent thing since then. So in order to watch the show, let's say you don't want to buy a ticket to there, or you don't live in Las Vegas. In the past, they've shown it on ESPN, but this year I couldn't see any programming scheduling for EVO on ESPN. So it looks like you're going to have to watch it through twitch.tv. Like EVO has their own channel, which you can watch it there, and it has like commentary and all that stuff. So that would be the way to watch it.
So do these competitors have sponsors? Like how does that work?
No. Okay, great question. Okay, so there is a difference between like competitive tournaments and like major league gaming, right? So if you're part of a gaming league, that's a very different thing from entering into a tournament like this, because anyone can enter into a tournament like this, right? And fighting game tournaments are different because there's no teams, right? It's just one-on-one. So let's say, because they do have gaming leagues, all right, let's take like Overwatch, for example, or Fortnite. They do have like these professional leagues that they do have sponsors, okay? In order to get on this league, you obviously have to win some regional competitions. And a lot of these leagues, depending on it, like, actually what's interesting is if you go to the Overwatch competitive like website, or actually it's the OWL, the Overwatch League. So if you go to the OWL website, Overwatch League website, they actually have like a path, like it tells you how to become a professional Overwatch player, right? So with something like that, you would want to start a team, right? Or find a website where you can be a part of a team, because that's a team-based game. Same with Fortnite. Oh no, Fortnite is individual or pairs. But like Nick, you heard of Dota? Have you heard of that? Or League of Legends?
I've heard of League of Legends, but
okay, they're really similar. But those are team-based games where you'd have to find a team, you'd have to gain a reputation as a team, you'd have to win some tournaments, like regional tournaments and all that stuff, and then you might get recruited to join the professional league, okay? But you really
seems like
have
a lot
to,
of work. I mean, I like playing video games, but that seems like a little bit too much for me.
Yes, it's taking, and that's my thing. That's why I stopped. I mean, the Tekken thing was an interesting experiment, but it's work. It's really, so it's all the things that a professional athlete would have to do. Not necessarily even. I think that the odds are even slimmer to become a professional gamer than a professional athlete, because with an athlete, you have a built-in infrastructure, right? You play in high school, then you play in college, then you hopefully get drafted to
Well, you got to be good, though. I mean, it's not that easy. You got to be good. You got to practice.
But with gaming, it's like the shot is even longer, right? Like the I don't know. I feel like
it's more global too, right?
Yes, because you're not just competing with people in the United States. You're competing with people in like Korea and Japan, which has insanely good video game players. So it's honestly, if you're listening to this and you're either a teenager who's thinking about getting into competitive gaming, or you're a parent with a teenage kid who wants to be a gamer, like, check yourself before you wreck yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to become a competitive gamer.
Go to college and get a degree in computer science or something like that.
Okay, becoming a professional athlete is kind of stupid if you think about it, because take basketball, for example. You are training your entire life to put a ball into a hoop. It's a completely meaningless task, right? But at least you get an exercise out of it. At least
it's more fun than playing dang video games.
Well, hey,
no, I'm just kidding.
But at least you're getting physical activity. At least you're staying in shape and all that stuff. So it has some benefits. Video games, you're learning a completely pointless task, but you're also sitting on your ass while learning.
But it is stimulating. You're learning problem solving technique.
No, shut up.
Strategy.
Because
maybe it'll like you'll be like a general in the army one day if you're playing these strategy games.
Well, because JP, you brought this up. You better hope that whatever game you pick stays relevant. Okay. This is why the career of a professional gamer is very short. Whenever you're 25, you're basically fixing to retire. Okay.
Because of the game,
because they get out. So let's say I decide to dedicate myself to becoming great at Tekken 7. Okay. Tekken 7. I'm going to dedicate my life to doing that. That game came out like 4 years ago. So let's say the game comes up. I'm going to dedicate myself to doing it. Okay. I play it. In order to become the best in the world, I have to play that nonstop, right? But then, let's say the Tekken 7 starts not being popular anymore. People stop playing it, and it's replaced by Mortal Kombat 11 or something like that, right? Like, it gets overshadowed by a new game. Now, all of a sudden, Tekken 7 isn't a big deal, and I've just wasted the past 5 years of my life.
But do you think you could quickly become good at, say, Mortal Kombat 11?
No, because these games are totally different. And also, the people who are good at them are so good, they know, like,
you'd be so far behind.
The minuscule physics, right? Because even if even if you dedicate yourself to, so Street Fighter was a big thing. So Street Fighter 4, was out when we were in college, right? Street Fighter, or people dedicated a ton of time to getting good at Street Fighter 4, and then Street Fighter 5 came out, right? It's not the same game, it's different. It's got little differences. And the little differences make a big difference, especially if you become really good at something specific, and then the rules change, you basically might as well start over, right? So let's say like you're like 24 years old, and you're the world champion at Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5 comes out, your career's over, because some kid, who started playing Street Fighter 5 when they were like 15 years old and has dedicated their entire life to it, they're going to replace you. Make sense? And so, yeah, that's the problem with the prospect of becoming a professional gamer, because no games last forever.
Yeah, but I mean, even though that's true, it'll just continue to get bigger and bigger because people are always going to be.
But it's all temporary, because what happens?
Prizes.
Because what happens whenever you are the champ, but then I don't know, like what happens when you're not the champ anymore? You're washed up at 25.
Yeah. But people are always going to be like trying to become the champ, like no matter what. Yeah. Like even if they know, they might know what the future might be like. I mean, they might understand that this won't last forever. But,
yeah. Well, okay, so let's kind of move forward a little bit. So talking about EVO this year and the lineup, okay? If y'all want to watch EVO, here are the games that are on, and here are when the finals begin, okay? If you want to choose one moment to start watching. So Friday, August 2nd, 8 p.m., Soul Calibur 6 is on. Nick, you ever played Soul Calibur?
Oh, back in the day.
Yeah, Soul Calibur 2 on GameCube or something like that?
Yeah, was the main guy Nightmare, the dude with the sword?
Yeah.
That's all I remember.
So, Soul Calibur 6 is around. It's a pretty good game. I got it for Chantel for Christmas, and it's pretty fun. That's at 8 p.m. on Friday, August 2nd. 10 a.m. on Saturday, August 3rd. So there's this game called Under Night in Birth. I'd never played it before, never heard of it before. But it's like this anime fighting game, like this 2D anime fighting game. That's at 10 a.m. 1 p.m. is Dragon Ball FighterZ, which is a lot of fun. Nick, you never played that, have you?
No, I played Dragon Ball Budokai, though.
Okay. Well, yeah, FighterZ is kind of similar to that, but it's, great game, lots of fun. Looks really cool if you like to look at, like, just visually, crazy things. Looks like an anime cartoon, but it's a video game. 4 p.m. you got Samurai Showdown, which is kind of an old school fighting game, but they just released a new Samurai Showdown game just like this past month. I haven't played it yet, but it should be interesting. At 8 p.m. on Saturday is Mortal Kombat 11, which of course you can see your best friends, Scorpion and Sub-Zero, rip each other's spines out or whatever. Sunday, August 4th. These are like some of the biggest games at this time. There's Blaze Blue, which isn't a huge game, but that's at 9 a.m. That's another anime fighting game similar to Under Night. And then at 12 p.m. you got Street Fighter 5. Okay, that'll be a big event. You got Tekken 7 at 3:30. Okay, and I'm definitely gonna watch that. And you got Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at 7 p.m. Now this is unusual because usually they save the biggest game for last, the one with the most entries. And so it's unusual that Super Smash Bros. Is the biggest entry in this tournament because it's not like a regular fighting game, That's most of it. Do y'all have like questions and stuff?
Yeah, don't some like colleges have gaming now? Or give out gaming scholarships?
Yeah. So there are gaming scholarships. Surprisingly, there's scholarship programs for League of Legends at Robert Morris University in Chicago, and Columbia College in Missouri, and then University of Pikeville in Kentucky. They all offer scholarship programs for League of Legends, which is bananas to me. That makes no sense, right? Why would a college offer scholarship for video games?
To be hip, to be cool. I don't know. I think it's crazy.
Because so why do maybe y'all can answer this because y'all are sports people. why do people get scholarships for playing football?
Well, the school gets a lot of money, I guess, for their sport, I guess.
Yeah.
So, for instance, like a big school, say UT.
Is that almost like a recruiting tool? So if UT has a great football team, so
oh yeah,
does that make people want to go to UT?
I'm sure. Okay. I mean, it's just like advertising. Gosh, it just a lot of good advertisement.
Yeah.
If your school has a good football team.
Like, I wonder if like A&M, if anyone would know what A&M was if they didn't have a significant football team, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it definitely put your school on the map.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know everything about that, but I know your school probably makes.
Yeah, but like, I mean, League of Legends, no one's gonna care. But I think it just might be like one of the board members at that school, like their son plays League of Legends, so they're like, okay, we'll offer a scholarship for that.
Maybe they were trying to be the pioneer when it comes to video games.
Maybe they saw like a future in it or whatever, and they wanted to get in that from the ground floor. Okay.
Oh, and like parents, I think parents probably tutor. They like any athlete, like a little baseball player, their parents will pay for lessons for them.
Yep.
So same thing with gaming. I'm sure parents probably do that too.
So there's a website actually called gamersensei.com, okay? And y'all listeners, okay, I'm a teacher. I've said that a few times on the show. And I'm also a professional tutor, okay? And so there's a tutoring website called Wiseant where professional tutors can post ads for themselves and be like, hey, I'm an SAT tutor. I charge this much an hour. These are my credentials and all that stuff. They have something exactly like that for video games, okay? It's called, Gamer Sensei. And if you look at it, like, go to that website and see it, because it's just like that. Like you compare the two websites, you see, oh, this is a free ad for this Gamer Sensei, Troy Hansen. He has 1,800 plus Fortnite wins. That's a consistent 53% win rate. He's attending college for a bachelor's in liberal arts to become an elementary school teacher, and he's been coaching Fortnite since March 18th, 2018. His charging rate, he goes for, let me see this, $17 an hour. And so there you go. If you live in, I guess it doesn't matter where you live because he does this online, but if you're a parent that wants your child to become a professional Fortnite player, hit up Troy Hansen. Because he teaches people how to play Fortnite. So, do you think you're going to do that next? Do you think that you're going to get Nolan a Fortnite tutor?
No, I'm going to give him a baseball and a glove and play catch in the backyard probably.
Oh no, it's just like to me there's so much stuff so much in the world, and I can only pay attention to so much of it. And so I couldn't do that.
It's limiting your world experience so much.
Yeah.
Because you're focusing so much on this one specific thing, and I think that unless you know for sure that it's going to pay off big time, like any kid that is dedicating, hundreds of hours a year, thousands of hours a year, in order to become that good at something, you gotta give so much of your time to it. If that kid put that time towards studying like human anatomy, they could become a doctor, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we probably sound old as hell.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking but would I feel the same way about someone who's dedicating so much time to tennis or baseball?
I know that I would feel that way. Because sports, the one benefit of sports, right, is because you dedicate that much time to playing a sport. At least you're getting physically fit, which is nice.
Yeah, well, and you're getting out, and I mean, half the sports are team sports, and you're meeting
social
people.
interactions and all that. Yeah,
and all that's important.
Yeah, which I mean, they do have team-oriented video games, right? So if you're playing Overwatch competitively, you are working with a team and all that stuff, so it does have that aspect. But I don't know. I think that I would rather my kid do cross-country running and dedicate hundreds of hours to running while listening to like audiobooks or something like that. because I'm just like, that's so much time to waste. But I don't know. Maybe it's perspective. Any listeners out there, if you're a competitive gamer, let us know. Is this a worthwhile endeavor for you? That's all I got, though. Y'all got anything else?
I think that's a good point to end on.
Well, okay, that being said, though, because I know that we've kind of beat up the video game competitive gaming quite a bit in this episode, but it is a ton of fun to watch, especially in a live setting, okay? I know that there are some, like, movie theaters and stuff that do live broadcasts, and so, or I'm sure that there's some, like, nerdy bars and stuff like that do the same, that they broadcast EVO. So it actually is a lot of fun to watch, like, because, you know, whenever I've been at gaming tournaments, it is like watching sports. Like, you get as excited, and it makes you, like, it's a thrill to see someone pull off a, like, you know, awesome move or combo or something like that. You get that same feeling that you would get, you know, watching basketball or soccer or whatever your sport is. So it can be a lot of fun. I suggest watching with people, though, for sure. I don't know if it'd be a ton of fun watching by yourself on your laptop. But yeah, that's all I got, though. That wraps it up for this episode of What is Sports, though. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, and again, if you're like an aspiring professional gamer and you have something to add to the conversation, hit us up on social media or send us an email. We are very curious to hear your thoughts on it. Again, our email is wisportscast@gmail.com. Our Twitter handle is whatisports1, no question mark. And of course, we're on Facebook as well. Now, next episode, we're going to be talking about boxing. I just watched my very first boxing match a couple weeks ago, which was a lot of fun. So we're gonna dive into that, learn all about the ins and outs of boxing. I'm sure it'll be similar to how we did the UFC coverage on the previous episode. But yeah, as I said, that does it for this week's episode. Thank you for listening. We'll see you guys next Wednesday.